Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to another SandStorm meetup. Today, we are joined by OUTR Studios, Gus and Beasting. How you guys doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. I want to thank you guys for coming on today. I really do appreciate it to talk about your project. Usually like to start out with a little bit of an introduction. So if you guys want to tell me a little bit about yourselves, the team behind OUTR Studios, and I guess a little bit about the project.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want me to start, Danny, or you want to hop in?
Yeah,
Beasting.
go ahead.
Cool. So yeah, probably the easiest thing to go back to is how Beasting and I met. So we've both been in architectural visualization. He's definitely more on the on much more of the technical side. I'm more in the photogrammetry, real world side, the actual data capture and like XYZ point clouds and what you see are a lot of people. If you've ever seen real estate, and you're able to walk through the house in 360. So quite a few years ago, I started a company doing that and really getting into virtual reality and making 3D environments before the term metaverse was really even getting thrown around. And so I was actually wandering through a forum, at like 3 in the morning, trying to figure out why no one is using the actual data that was being captured from these real world environments and like putting it into VR spaces to try and manipulate it. And sure enough, there was Beasting in a forum, like a 3-year-old post, and he was the guy who figured it out, and he was doing it. So
Mm-hmm.
I emailed him, and that was kind of history on how we met. But yeah, I've been in that industry a few years, and then even before that, just him and I knowing each other, we were kind of watching all these things arise, and we were watching projects. I'd say it was probably like early 2020, maybe even. We were starting to hear different metaverses. I was getting into it more. We started talking about it, and then that's when Beasting kind of found the white paper on Sandbox, and then from there, that's the initial beginning phases of Outer Studios, really.
Nice. And so Beasting, when he reached out to you on this forum, like what did you think?
Well, there were a lot of people like reaching out to me via that forum. It was like a forum for photographers and mostly people using Matterport cameras. And well, at the time, he was just a client with me. We were working together. He got
Mm-hmm.
some great work my way, and like we started talking crypto as well. And like you already mentioned, he started talking about the sandbox. I read the white paper, and I was pretty much sold on it from that point. And eventually, uh, we secured a partnership with the Sandbox ourselves, and I also got a position as a Sandbox ambassador as well. So I'm all in on the Sandbox at the moment.
Nice. All in, all in. So Sandbox is pretty much, who you guys work with now. You guys don't work with any other metaverses currently?
Correct.
Yeah.
Do you have any plans on venturing into other metaverses?
Yeah, absolutely. Our team, like I said, we've done so much in 3D visualization and virtual reality. Unreal Engine. A lot of our team already builds in for other projects that we still do. So not metaverse related, but somewhat real world projects. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think right now we want to restrict our focus. We don't want to put too many hands out and get lost in all the different metaverses we could try and hop into. So we wanted to really focus on the Sandbox, but absolutely, future plans is to be metaverse builders. We want to be able to build in quite a few different spaces depending on which ones arise.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. I mean, Sandbox is a great place to start. We love the Sandbox over here. Um, and I guess for anyone watching the stream, by the way, if you guys have any questions throughout the show, feel free to ask. If you guys want to tell the guys watching the stream that might not know what Outer Studios is, what you guys are about, I guess, what is Outer Studios?
Yeah, I mean, so Outer Studios in its basic form is a metaverse builder company. We develop and build architectural assets, but it doesn't completely restrict us to architecture. It's just that's our forte. Danny, if these thing, if you want to hop in and go in further in detail into anything else, but I think one of our main concepts that we really strive to be behind right now, especially for metaverse building in itself, is modularity. So that's something that we see a lot of things that can be built and that's great, but they're like single structures. We
Mm-hmm.
want to kind of and not to break any copyright infringement, but be the Lego blocks of building things and having kits that enable builders to build faster, easier, and creatively.
Yeah. Yeah, because you guys have these pre-built containers, right? The ones that we're seeing on screen right here, and the ones that we were showing in our social hub. And essentially, like, you guys pre-build the containers and give different like doors and stuff where you like whoever gets the pre-built container can customize it in their own way.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of an interesting thing. Everything going on, and I'm sure you guys are familiar with the sandbox. It's like everything's happening in stages, and more is being offered to the marketplace. So because of the modularity behind each of these components, right? There's beams, floors, walls, everything like that. Essentially, once Polygon is live in the marketplace, we're actually going to airdrop the individual kits basically. So you'll get the entire build kit, so you can build whatever you want. But to get this started, to show the modularity and the doors and the customization, we started with pre-builts, and that was, we wanted to start with unique spaces that ready to go out of the box. But the utility behind it is they're also getting airdropped at a later date. So anyone who purchases one of these is getting the build kit at a later date once Polygon is live in the marketplace. It's just there's so many components. I mean, it's not a crazy amount, but there's so many. Depending on gas fees, airdropping each individual component to each buyer can get pretty expensive.
Yeah, for sure.
Just want to iterate on that's for the legendary assets.
Yes, the legendary assets.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Because right now you guys, just from reading the website, you guys have the artist loft, the compound, and the abstract home. Are those the three that people can currently buy right now if they wanted to?
Yeah, so they can those are the three legendary that hold the utility, the most utility, I would say. The other ones still hold utility as well, but we also just dropped our second drop, was more of a store series. So we have a container pop-up store, a container cafe, and just a container store. And basically they're much smaller than these, but they're really out of the box, ready to go if you want to start selling something on your land in the sandbox or create an experience.
Yeah, I was going to say, because right now, everything's pretty limited to what we can do in the sandbox. And that's all, we bring so many projects on here and talk to them about their sandbox experience and what they plan on doing, but no one can really say because, we just don't know. But I was going to ask, like, how do you see these containers being used primarily?
Yeah, I mean, I think my primary original thought, and Beasting's original thought, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Beasting, but was we wanted these spaces to be, you own a land, you don't know what you're going to do. With these owning, you can populate easily, and you can start really curating an experience, whether it's, hosting your NFTs as an art gallery inside of one of these spaces ready to go. You can have events inside and maybe even live stream music inside, almost like a house party style vibe in the real world, but you're having that on your metaverse land. So that's why these pre-builts, the original legendaries, it was, that kind of thinking. But it really doesn't close doors to also creating something and using them in games, especially the real world feel that they give you as containers. So that's why the compound, we even saw it being used in a sort of almost Walking Dead-esque style game, right? It's you can secure it with our secure keypad doors and create it so it's, you have to be able to unlock the doors to get inside the compound to get the secret key. So we don't want to limit it to just being, more experience or hangout based. We also want it to be in-game use assets as well.
Nice. And once again, oh yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, and basically giving like the artists, like people who are not like voxel artists, giving them the tools to create something of their own creation based on those modular assets. That's why we want to happily focus on modularity as well.
Yeah. I was going to say, for anyone out there that's watching that wants to get their hands on one of these, where can they buy one?
So right now, the best place is the Sandbox Marketplace. So yeah, we have 2 drops available on our page. The links in our Twitter. We'll post some other links as well. But it's just a direct link. If you just go to the Sandbox Marketplace on the left, you'll go down and you'll see Meta Realtor Container and the outer logo that you're seeing right now on screen. And you'll see all the assets that we have available currently to purchase.
There you go. Sandbox Marketplace. Do you guys ever plan, I guess I wanted to know, I don't know if you currently do or if you plan on doing in the future, I guess, doing builds for people? Like say if someone came to you and they had a plot of land and they're just like, I own this land, but I don't know how to build anything. Like, can you build me an experience? So you guys ever plan on doing that?
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely in our roadmap, and we're already speaking with individuals as well as companies. So we'll see what comes to fruition. Everything's kind of in the planning phase, but yes, we've already been reached out to quite a few different independent landowners as well as some companies that are the same exact thing. Yep.
Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Because I could definitely see some NFT projects or whatever, just saying like, hey, like we need this experience built. Cause I mean, you could do temporary things. I mean, if you look on screen right now, that hole in the ground, last week we were doing like a full blown DJ show where like, I don't know if they're going to keep this in our social hub, but yeah, like temporary builds for just special events and then come through, wipe that out, build something else. We definitely see a big market for that.
Absolutely, especially when Polygon comes out and it'll be like relatively cheap or like pretty much the gas fee won't be an issue for like updating an entire experience.
Yeah, for sure. Because Ethereum gas fees are not fun to deal with.
Yeah, I mean, we've been lucky the
Always.
last couple of weeks, but
Yeah.
definitely not fun to deal with. And yeah, I mean, if you think about it too, from like an events standpoint, so I have a background in events in LA, and I did rock and roll for a lot of years, and you see them go up and come down in a day, and you can think the same thing virtually too, right? You could set up a plot of land just specifically for a fashion event or a concert and have booths and vendors and everything, and then it goes away or it gets archived for the next year or something like that. But then the land, is continuously evolving or revolving for different events.
Yeah. 100%. So I see it being used like that. Now you guys do have, is that your guys' voxel character, the construction guy?
Yeah.
Do you guys ever plan on having any other avatars?
Yes, definitely.
Okay. Yeah. Cause I noticed the one, I don't know if we've ever used him in the sandbox. I don't know if there's multiple different construction guys, but we used to have construction people in our social hub.
Nice.
But,
There might actually be. I'm not 100% sure. I know Beasting created that our construction worker pretty early on, actually. So we've had him for a while, and then we have our I unfortunately I don't think I sent you guys any videos of him, but that'll be a follow-up thing that we'll do. So Outer Studios, the Meta Realtor is Meta Realtor Todd, and so Todd is actually he's a meta human that lives on in 3D as well as voxel. So yeah, that's him right there running around.
that's him running around. He's going to be the realtor.
Yeah, so Todd is he's the meta realtor. He's the one selling the estates and the home. So our facility, that we'll have more information on that in the coming months. But our meta realtor facility is going to act as not only a social hub, but and we're here in the States. So I apologize anyone that's in a different country, but I'm going to compare it to like Home Depot. You walk into a Home Depot and you see all the kitchens you can buy for your house. Or if you're shopping for a home and let's say you go to a whole neighborhood that's just model homes essentially. So our facility will have, pre-built as well as assets, and you'll be able to really like walk around our facility to figure out what you want to build on your land and see it in there in the metaverse and see the scale of it, how it looks, how you'd kind of tailor it or stage it essentially. And then you'll be able to purchase those assets right there.
Awesome. Yeah, that's cool. I wanted to ask, do you guys have any projects you guys are partnered with?
As of right now, no.
Yeah, I guess you said you're partnered with Sandbox, right?
Yeah, we're partnered with the Sandbox right now. That's our main focus. Like I said, we're in talks with some other ones, but nothing I can like say right now until it's nothing in detail or fine print or written down.
Also relatively in the early stages because we're still building our own social hub as well.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, do you guys also own a plot of land in Sandbox?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
How big is the plot?
The Meta facility is going to be on a 2x2, and then we also plan on like if the possibilities are there, we want to make some portals to individual 1x1s for like to showcase like different assets.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, your guys' social hub could potentially link to other like you said, like smaller builds or people that are
Like you
partnered
just
with
mentioned,
you?
like a temporary 1x1 where you showcase like a specific drop, all the assets combined over there. It's like one big showroom.
Yeah.
For example, you can teleport there and then you can go back to the actual facility later on.
Yeah. Awesome. And are you guys already, I guess, building on your social hub? What are you guys planning on doing, I guess, with that space?
Yeah, no. So what we've done is, and Slater, I don't know if you want to pull up the PDF to kind of give people an idea. So what we do is we wanted to not just because we can just build straight in Vox Edit, but we wanted to really kind of like document this entire process. And so the facility, this is an example of the abstract home. So this is an actual like architectural working file that you would give to an architect, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is a 3D model as well as the 2D CAD blueprints and everything. So that's showing the abstract home that you also see on the left. That's the voxel version. So we did a very similar thing, and I don't have a PDF that I attached to show you that because we're kind of keeping some of that under wraps right now. But the facility itself, we did the same thing in the process. We're completely 3D modeling it as we would a real facility, like we're building it in the real world on a plot of land the size of a 2x2. So we're kind of documenting this whole process so that we can show, a lot of our expertise in the years that goes into architectural visualization and what we've been doing over the years. And that's what's taking, I would say, the longer part of this process. Because like I said, we could just build as smaller assets in Vox Edit and start putting it right away together in Game Maker. But we wanted to kind of have this unique perspective of what goes into creating real world and metaverse architecture together.
Yeah. Awesome. And you said that you guys were both architects prior to this, right?
I'm in architectural visualization, so I actually studied multimedia design, and from that I got an internship at an interior architectural company, and I started doing 3D visualization, and that's what became my expertise, and that's what I did for years to come after
Yeah.
that.
Awesome. Awesome. And I guess I never really asked how big is your guys' team? How many people are on the team?
Right now, we're just a team of four. Sometimes five. But yeah, no, we're a solid team of four, and we we're we love it. To be honest, we think about it sometimes. We've talked about it. It's like, hey, maybe we or should we add, a few more people to really start doing things. But our team moves along very solidly, and we haven't been. There's nothing we've been behind on as of yet. So we'd rather keep it small and grow, and really have our standard operating procedures and everything down before we start adding anyone new to the team.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess, once Sandbox becomes more accessible to people, you'll see how you have to scale if you need to add more people or whatnot to the team. But that is impressive that you guys are a team of four, sometimes five, and you're doing all of this. So,
Thank you. Yeah.
I was going to ask, about Sandbox again. I guess what drew you guys to the Sandbox initially?
I'll let Beasting take this one.
You take this one. I got a lot of background noise at the moment. I'll be gone in a few minutes.
Oh, okay. Well, I was gonna say, I mean, what we both read over their white paper, and like, so it basically came like this in Discovery. It was kind of like I'm on OpenSea. I'm already kind of in NFT land and world. Um, Kind of earlier side. This is like 2020 at this point. Maybe like 2019 or 2020. And so I'm like going through, and then then I start seeing virtual worlds, and my team was already working on a VR project. So we were actually doing another team before Outer that was kind of the birth of Outer, and we were working on another VR project, and it was for an education company, kind of creating, a virtual reality experience for education and hopping through portals that take you to forests and space and learning and everything. And so we already like had this concept of metaverse, of like, oh, okay, like people are going to be in VR or 3D and communicate with each other or learn. And so once I saw, this whole area of OpenSea, and there's like crypto voxels and Decentraland, and this is before there was like so many. And so I really got into Decentraland, and I remember I was like hopping on a phone call with friends, and this is like, I want to say Decentraland at like 20 cents or something. It's like, you invest. I'm like, not invest in advice, but what I would do, you know?
Yeah.
And so I had a lot of friends do very well off of that, and it was like the rabbit hole I just started like climbing down. And that's when I brought it to beasting. I was like, hey, you know, like there's this one called the Sandbox that's still super early on. Like I think Decentraland had pretty much already minted by that point, and everything was just secondary sales. So we wanted to like get into something a little bit more new, and you know, have the opportunity to build and get into something. So that's when beasting kind of he really dove into the white paper, because I would say, as far as, you know, super technical stuff, he's much more efficient than I am. And so I trusted him to kind of break it down. And that's when he kind of came back to me and he's like, hey, this is super legit. This is probably the one that we want to, you know, focus and spend our time on, and then and start building. Yeah.
Nice. And I guess, you know, you mentioned Decentraland being kind of one of the first ones that you saw. What metaverse outside of Sandbox, you know, we mentioned at the very beginning, like other metaverses, I guess, which one interests you the most as like the next one to take on?
There's a couple, to be honest. So I'm fascinated by Decentraland. I mean, it's kind of one of those things like first to market. It's like Coca-Cola, right? Or Nike, whatever you want to call it. So it'll be interesting to see how they develop over the years. I think what they've done in fashion, and doing like the fashion week and everything in there, is kind of a really cool proof of concept. I love on their roadmap that they're already, you know, promising virtual reality into their world, which is something that I think, you know, projection wise, you know, 5 years down the road, I think a lot more people are going to be adopting virtual reality. You're already seeing it. So I think the ones that'll reign supreme, you know, probably 10 years down the road, are ones that have been building or accommodating into virtual reality. But it just depends, right? Because I think you're going to have a whole section of users that are like, and I don't want to throw you in my age group, but I grew up, you know, PC gaming, Xbox, everything else. So
Yeah.
I do stuff in VR. I have a VR company, and we build VR experiences. I wear glasses. I can't spend too much time in there right now.
Yeah.
I know people that do a ton of time in VR, and it's still like, I think the technology needs to grow. So I think we have some time there. But I think Decentraland is very interesting. And then personally, I also think I'm really fascinated by Wilder World. I think you know, Chad Knight leaving Nike's 3D as 3D designer to go over to Wilder World and take over 3D development for all their like shoes and wearables and everything is just huge. And just seeing what they're doing, and I'm a huge Chad Knight fan anyways, like his art and just on its own.
Yeah.
So I think that's very interesting. They're kind of like slowly coming out, and then I'm trying to think. Well, obviously, we'll see what the other side really is, right? Everyone's the Bored Apes, the other side, 100,000 in 3 days,
Yeah.
the first drop. So I think just judgment of that community and the celebrities and everything behind it, that we'll see what happens. But that could be, you know, a reign supreme style metaverse.
Yep. I've never finished my KYC for that.
Ah, no.
Unfortunately, I clicked on it at first and I was like, I'll fill this out later. And I came back, I never filled it out.
I have done a million things like that for different jobs. Like, oh, it's like, I remember Moonbirds. I was like, oh, I'll do the raffle. And then I just, no. And then I watched, you know, Moonbirds come out. I was like, oh, sick. Yeah. Missed out on that. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I sent Beasting another friend of ours the KYC, and they're like, "You sure about this?" I was like, "If it's from Bored Ape, I'm sure."
I think that's what it was. I saw it as soon as they posted it, and I was like, I'm gonna wait, because I mean, these places, these accounts get hacked. I mean, we saw just recently their Instagram got hacked, and
exactly,
so many people got their apes stolen or just other stuff stolen. And I was like, I think I'm gonna wait a day or two, and we'll see what this is about before I start giving information. And I forgot. I never went back to it, and apparently it was important. So
yeah, and it's funny. There's this and I understand the secretive being secretive, because I feel like for security reasons it just makes sense. So it's just, I really wish they would announce soon, like, is it 100% really land? How much is it going to cost? And but we'll see.
Yeah. Yep. I saw want to say I saw someone on Twitter that they thought they had found the contract because they had saw that like a certain amount of land was allocated to ape owners and then a certain amount was to mutant ape owners and then like a public sale. So I do think that it is going to be land, and like I think they're going to sell 100K this upcoming weekend, and then they're supposed to do like another 100,000 later on.
Yeah, in August, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I 100% think it's land too, and that's the problem. Maybe I spend too much time in that Discord. There's so much speculation. It's so crazy. Everyone's just like, I go in for like a few minutes, and I'm like, okay, I got to get off of this. Just only read the announcements.
Yeah, but something you did touch on before with VR is, you know, how it needs to evolve, and I actually 100% agree with you. And I feel like even like 4 years ago, I feel like VR was kind of like a gimmick thing. Almost to me, I looked at it as like 3D TVs. Like, remember when they had 3D TVs and it was like, who actually owned a 3D TV and like still has one? I don't know anyone, but
Yeah.
I feel like VR was in that stage, but now I feel like every time I watch any sporting event, like there's a VR advertisement, no matter what. And I feel like that's the beginning stages of like big companies getting involved in VR and like taking it serious and it not being a gimmick anymore.
The big issue about it is getting it all set up. Like, it's getting easier with the Quest and everything because it's standalone. You can also use it as feathered or like wireless on a desktop PC, but getting set up is the hurdle. It'll take a lot of time to get set up and get started, but once you're in there, it's awesome.
Yeah, I'd like to see it one day be like you just put on some glasses and that's how it works, which is definitely possible, I think.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing is like that we didn't get a chance to touch on, that I really think is probably going to even expand further than virtual reality metaverses, at least at first, and that's augmented reality metaverses, and that's, you know, ones that are built on real world environments. And you see a few. I mean, even at NFC, the non-fungible conference we recently attended in Lisbon, there was companies there, and it's, you know, they create this grid over the globe essentially, and you're buying virtual plots of real world land that you can then build augmented reality experiences on, and anyone running around with smart glass. So let's, you know, and it's always kind of interesting. I'm not trying to talk crap or anything, but all of these AR metaverses, you know, when you go and try and buy land, all of the stadiums are already gone. Like if it's a sporting stadium, if it's like a conference hall, anything like that, and they're always one we were talking to is like, hey, we're not trying to do this for the money, it's for the art. And we're like, then why are all the stadiums gone? Because that's clearly a marketing, you know, that's an advertising position. Everyone would want that because, yeah, I mean, if you're at a sporting event and you throw on your smart glasses and you see all these ads for things, you know, it's this world on top of a world like you see in so many sci-fi shows on Netflix and things. I think that world on top of the world that we're going to be living in reality, this augmented verse, is going to be really interesting to see who comes out on top. And, you know, there's so many right now, but I really haven't seen one that's like, to me, like even like a Sandbox or Decentraland or a Wilder World, like what we're seeing online. So I think the applications for that are pretty much endless between advertising and art and all sorts of things.
Yeah. I think the best augmented reality thing that I've experienced is probably Pokemon Go.
Yeah,
that's amazing. Probably like, yeah. I mean, and it's just, how do they move that from your phone to like, like a pair of glasses? And yeah. I mean, it's definitely going to be cool. I think the next 10 years, like technology wise, we're going to see, you know, just crazy stuff come out for sure.
Absolutely. And now you have things that are making this more accessible, right? So Apple's going to be coming out with their VR glasses. Then you have companies, I was just reading today, who is it? It's MoonPay partnering with MetaMask, so you can pay with a credit card. So now you get into a virtual reality game. You don't need to have a crazy wallet set up in there. You can just have, you know, like your credit card going through MetaMask and be buying crypto assets. Makes it more, anything you make more streamlined is going to have more mass adoption. And I think, you know, the more mass adoption is what's going to really drive this space to see what gets really created. Because as of right now, we're kind of, you know, there's so many projects we've already seen come out and go to zero. And, and it's like, you see people like, it's funny, Gary Vee talks, and I don't know if you guys follow Gary Vee, but I've been following him for before he ever started V Friends for marketing stuff. And I'm just always interested to his opinion on things. And one thing he brought up was, he thinks like eventually there will just be like a zeroed out in this space, like, the .com era. And to me, I think there is every single day. I think it's just very rapidly happening. I think you see companies arise and then they're gone, or they have no utility and people figure it out, or rug pulls. So I think everything just happens so much faster. Like people say, it's like I've been in this space for 3 months and it feels like 3 years.
Yeah, yeah, and I think a lot of people do make that comparison of the .com era, but it's like during that time, information wasn't moving as quickly. I mean, people were investing in stocks that, they didn't know it was a rug pull until it was a rug pull.
Exactly.
It's like now, like you see, like you invest in either a crypto or a meme coin or an NFT project, and like you find out something sketchy about the guy that started it within like the next 15 minutes, and you're like, okay, well, I'm not going to be buying this. And like, yeah, things move so much quicker than they did before. I did want to talk to you about, you guys are doing a contest. We wanted to announce it. You want to talk a little bit about this contest for anyone out in the chat that would like to compete?
Yeah. So we are doing a complete modular set of golden assets. So essentially everything you're seeing here. So you can see like the whole playing field. So right behind that is every single component that goes into making really whatever you want. And Beasting and I were discussing, should we do a theme here? Like, do we want to do modern architecture? Do we want to do something like this? But we really wanted to just let everyone have like they just got a box of Legos for Christmas, and you went over to your cousin's house and they have this big old bag of building blocks, and you just want to build whatever you want. So we want to let everyone just have fun. As of now, the contest is running 2 weeks. We have discussed maybe extending it to 3. So we'll keep it 2 weeks for now, but everyone just keep an eye on the Twitter, see if we do an extension. But yeah, we have a couple videos. This is just a time-lapse video. We have another video that's a how-to, and so it actually shows you how they work, snapping them together in the Game Maker using the Shift key, and then certain other things you do that just aren't available in Game Maker yet, but are quick workarounds to make everything line up perfectly. And we also have another how-to for brand new users that have never even added like free assets to their account to make sure that they're in their inventory. So we have a couple videos just going over everything, and we really just want everyone to have fun. The winner is actually going to get the 1-of-1 golden asset set. So everything they see there will be airdropped to their account. And Beasting, anything else you want to say on it?
No, just to reiterate on that, like it's gonna be freely available for everybody during the time of the contest, and once the winner gets picked, the assets are gonna be minted to unique 1-out-of-1 assets, so it won't be available for free anymore, and only the winner will have access to it.
Nice.
Yeah, we thought we really love the concept of only there being one set of these ever available within the sandbox, and it's because whoever does get these and build on their land, you could build some really interesting stuff. I mean, imagine an entire golden hotel. You could build, I could go on for just go to Google and type in what people do with shipping containers in the real world, and you can see the possibilities are really unlimited when it comes to even metaverse applications, because you can build things that aren't structurally feasible in the real world. So it's really your heart's and mind's desire at this point.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know too much about using Game Maker or building, because the couple times I've gone on there, like it's just turns out to be a big pool of water. That's all I can make. And for some reason, I feel like this seems like a way to kind of, I guess, teach people how to build essentially more, because you already have these pre-built assets and you're learning how to put them together and line them up correctly. I guess, you guys ever plan on, tapping more into, the education part of it?
Yeah, absolutely. Beasting and I have discussed. So pretty soon here, we didn't want, again, we're a team of 4 right now. We're probably going to be adding pretty soon for just this reason is we didn't want to launch our Discord right away. We have a Discord. We have the team in it, but we didn't want to launch right away just because it's so much to already take on with everything else. But we are going to be launching the Discord throughout this contest so that we can communicate with people. And that's, I think, going to be a huge part of what we do here is, for us, it's plug and play. And for anyone who figures it out pretty much right away, it is plug and play, but there'll always be questions. It's just like reading, the instruction booklet when you're putting something together.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think definitely we would love to, like do, even videos or live streams of us building and even different assets. I won't get too much into it. Beasting has, even after this contest, we have a drop coming up in May, and it's completely different than this. It's still a modular idea. It goes around modularity, but it's completely different than containers, and it's going to
I
allow
could
people
potentially show a little bit of it if I can show my screen.
I don't know that you can. Well, you'd have to ask. Sharp, is he allowed to show his screen, or it has to go through Slater Aid, right?
So I think Slater Aid can hear us. If he Slater Aid, you think he can show his screen? We'll see what Slater Aid says.
Yeah, no worries.
There's a share button at the bottom. Okay, so like at the bottom
perfect.
It says share. Yeah, click that and then share your screen.
Cool. We just wanted to make sure we didn't want to take over and something happen.
We're getting some alpha here. Okay, yeah, and then I think Slater Aid can bring that on to stream. There we go.
There it is.
All right, so what are we looking at?
These are modular tunnel assets. So the idea is to make like an underground series with like braces, and then we've got like corner pieces, and everything is built on I think a 15 by 15 grid. And these all snap together with shift as well. And then if I press tab, now this is just like a really quick example, and you'll get like a complete tunnel system. And if you put some dirt blocks next to it, like this, like so. I'm on my MacBook right now, which isn't as intuitive as a desktop PC, but you get the point, right?
Yeah. Put some dirt walls up, and then you
exactly, and then it'll be
tunnel.
Enclosed. Exactly, yeah. Something like this, more or less. And then you can dress it up with like some torches, stuff like that. By the way,
yeah. Which we'll be having additional assets. I mean, everything from shovels to torches, picks, little railroad wagons. So basically an underground series, but I mean, it really expands. We want people to really think, like, I mean, I don't know if you just saw anyone on stream could just see Beasting, just holding shift. If you have all these components, within an hour, you could have a whole little underground tunnel system and cave going on pretty quickly. And thank you, Maddox. But yeah, so it's really an interesting concept of, we have, that's what Sandbox wants it to be. From what we know and what we've heard them speak, is we want everyone to be able to build and quickly build within the sandbox. And that's part of, why Voxel is so cool. It's not only an artistic statement and a throwback, and it really creates this environment that anyone should be able to build in. I mean, it's not practical for like even some of these VR metaverses we're talking about, for someone who wants to get into it and pick up Unreal Engine and go figure out how they're going to make a whole 3D environment. It's just really not practical. So when we come up with, I mean, when Beasting was telling me about this, I just thought it was an amazing idea, especially to make people realize it's like, hey, you have all this land underneath you. You can build out tunnel systems, you can build out bunkers, grids, all sorts of underground worlds. So this is, just another facet of the modularity we really wanted to exploit and let people see, how quickly they can actually build something out. And I think for even game creation, this could be huge for like creating underground tunnels and bunker systems,
mazes,
exactly.
What if people end up doing like death runs or anything like that? Like, yeah, I mean, I see the games that people made, and I come from like playing Halo. I love playing Halo in the Forge mode and just like the different mini games that you were able to make in that, or just the kids nowadays are playing Roblox, and that's all just making mini games. And when those kids get older, like they're going to want to go to the next level. And I feel like Sandbox is going to be that next level of creating games.
I agree.
And I think that's going to be awesome. And I agree with you. Like the 3D renders and stuff, like, I mean, that's not easy to do. It's not easy to understand how to work Unreal Engine or do 3D renders. So I look at Sandbox as kind of the people's metaverse, where just anyone will be able to get in there and create an experience and have a good time.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Contract. Oh yeah, Maddox was wondering where to enter the contest.
Definitely. So we're gonna have as of right now, we'll be posting. This is like the first official announcement right here live of it. So after we get off here today, you'll see everything come out on Twitter in a large Twitter post with all the videos and everything. So that'll be on the at Outer Studios Twitter. And that'll have all the details. And then essentially what we're gonna have is it's not even gonna be live for the first week because we just don't want to get it muddied up. But you can just start downloading the assets and building, and then we're gonna have a form, just a Google form you'll be able to fill out, and that'll be on the website. We'll post that on Twitter as well. That's so you can submit entry details and everything like that. But we figured there was no reason to put it live right now and have people just start filling it out with nothing because you can't. There's no way you built anything already.
Yeah.
But people can already navigate to a Sandbox account and then start adding the assets to the library. They are available right now. So
Awesome. And you know, like I said, follow Outer Studios on Twitter. Join the Discord. As always, that's going to be where you're going to get your information. Make sure you're following both of those. I did want to ask, you know, right now you guys are kind of on doing architectural builds. Do you guys ever have any plans on doing stuff outside of architectural builds?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, as of right now, to be honest, we've probably created, I don't know, I'd have to look at our library, but it's got to be getting close to like 500 or more assets. And these are everything from, you know, individual plants and components to furniture to pretty much anything you can imagine. So our team has been building nonstop, especially for things that we need and want to have for our experience. So I think our large focus at this point was we wanted people to have things ready made. So if you're a landowner, you can buy, you know, our shipping container cafes and, you know, our underground parts and essentially build out top bottom. That's what we're trying to make sure right away. But absolutely in the future. I mean, we definitely, BC and I have talked about even doing like one-of-one art pieces, more stylistic animation architecture all infused, you know, much like Transformers.
Yeah.
Something that is looks like something but becomes something else. So I think yeah, down the road we definitely have plans to. Sorry,
Right.
Danny, do you want to touch on it?
no, just to iterate on it, like right now we're doing like some real world architectural assets, like the container assets, the tunnels. Those are like relatively realistic, but we're also going towards sci-fi assets, and we all want to make it into like a modular fashion. So there's going to be several themes like Western, sci-fi, whatever. It's not only going to be like normal architecture.
Nice. Yeah, I really like these containers. I don't know why, like it just immediately makes me think of like McDonald's saying that they're going to be in Roblox or Chipotle in Roblox. And I could just see like in the future restaurants coming to you guys like, hey, we want to throw a container on this land for like this specific event. And it's like, obviously you can't eat Chipotle in the metaverse, but it's an advertising tool. You know, someone plays the game, they see Chipotle and then they're like, I'm hungry. I think I'm gonna order DoorDash and get Chipotle.
Absolutely, advertising tool, and you know what's even crazier? I mean, with connections with companies that large and companies like Uber Eats and DoorDash, I don't see it not being feasible to eventually go to an event in the metaverse, pay in crypto, and then have something delivered to your house. So it takes you to a third party website like an Uber Eats or something, and then it just connects to your account and sends to you. But I don't see it not being completely,
Yeah.
yeah, like maybe possible.
Well, have you seen I don't know if I keep seeing this Walmart video around Twitter. I don't know if it's real or not, where it's like they'll show you in like in a Walmart metaverse and
Yeah.
you're looking at groceries and you're swiping through like the type of milk you want. I don't know if that's real or not, but yeah, I could definitely see people
I think that
online
was the
shopping.
concept of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's 100% real. They've been working on it since I want to say like 2017, 2018. So I know the company actually working on it because that again, how Beasting and I met. I also own a 3D VR visualization company, and so that's something that we do for clients is like v-commerce essentially. So yeah, no, I know the company that's been working on it. They're actually based out of Texas, and they've been working on it for quite a few years. So they've been in this metaverse planning stage before the term was even being used.
Wow, that's crazy.
The term we always use before metaverse, and I'm sure you've heard it a million times, is digital twin, right?
Yeah.
We're gonna create your digital twin and bring. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. It's like I said, next 5 to 10 years, like you'll be able to like put on some goggles or glasses or whatever. You'll be sitting courtside at a basketball game, and you'll look over and you'll just order some food on DoorDash, and a drone will deliver it to your house.
No, exactly. Yeah, your pad will already be out there. You'll be able to walk out there with the goggles still on and see everything because it'll have like the outward camera and everything. It's pretty crazy. I mean, if I'm sure you've seen the other video going around that's 100% real too, is the people that work in virtual subways right now.
I've not seen that.
Okay, yeah. There's a TikToker, and he goes in VR, logs into work, puts on VR goggles, and works in a virtual subway. And he said, they spend like 5 to 8 hours a day or something in there, and with
Wow.
breaks, and he gets paid in cryptocurrency, and it's insane. I mean, it looks like almost like Decentraland, but it's a virtual subway they've built out. I'm not really sure where or why people are going in there, but people go in and they buy sandwiches and they get delivered to their house. And the people like in VR like virtually make it for you. It's a bizarre concept, but it's already here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check that out for sure.
Me too.
Yeah, that sounds. I mean, yeah, it's gonna be crazy. I don't know. But is there anything you feel like that we didn't touch on today that you would like to mention about Outer Studios to the people watching?
Trying to think. Let's see. I mean, I really want people to, if anyone ever has any questions or even sees something that we're not pushing the boundaries, our biggest thing is, I know things seem simplistic right now, right? You're seeing a shipping container home, but there's quite a bit that goes into that. Especially a lot of what we do is architecturally accurate, right? So this is to scale. It's not like we just said we're going to build giant shipping containers. Everything is to scale, like you saw with the actual
To
architectural.
scale to an extent, because voxels are like 3.25 centimeters, but like pretty much to scale.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think one thing is for us too, is as a company, we always want to, our utility is our biggest concept. So we always want to make sure anyone who's owning these, like if, like for instance, we had one person who came on and bought 3 of our legendaries right away. And if you go on our Twitter, eventually we're going to take a picture of just what's in their wallet, and you'll see how much we've airdropped them, right? And it's like thank you for believing in us, and like so we're big about like airdropping like new designs or concepts for people to try out. So it's not one of those things where you buy and then we're going to leave you and say thanks for buying. It's like, so we always have utility, and that part of it is we want people to be trying out our stuff, especially owners that are already in our community. And then, I mean, even more so the utility of the real world, like those CAD files are going to be in an NFT that are going to be airdropped. So that PDF you saw earlier with all those files, that's going to be an NFT that's going to be airdropped to the legendary owners. And if they own real world land, they can build that container in the real world. They have all the architectural files. They could go to any local architect with that PDF and basically start the process of building that in the real world. And that's a concept we really love, is that anything that we can build in the metaverse. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's always going to be certain things we push the boundaries on that's only allowed in the metaverse, but if we can bring that into real world and have that connection, that's something that's huge for us. Because like going to non-fungible conference after being on lockdown and talking to everyone virtually, Beasting and I worked together for years before we ever actually met in person. We talk every day, but going and meeting in person and talking to other artists and it, I think, is still a huge part of what we do. It's like the metaverse is amazing, but as much ties as we can have to the real world and bring it all together, I think is going to be so crucially important for the future of all this. Because living in VR goggles or on a computer for 10 hours a day is probably not the healthiest thing to do as a human being.
No. We're gonna need some metaverse gyms.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, that's the only thing I'd like to instill. It's like, hey, we're a company, we're going to be around a long time. We have a lot of future plans for builds, and we just want to really tie into real world and metaverse together as much as possible, and see what boundaries we can break as far as especially modularity within the metaverse. We think it's such a huge component that has changed the way we build everything in real life between robotics and modularity. You even see like 3D printed homes in the real world becoming a real thing. So things like that really fascinate us to, humans have already done this in the real world. So we should be utilizing the same concept within the metaverse.
Yeah. I'm sure I've seen it, people on TikTok that like have shipping containers and turn them into Airbnbs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yep.
You would never expect like what you could do with a shipping container.
There's complete offices being built using shipping containers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Big shout out to Maddo, who's asking to buy your merch, Gus.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Do you guys have merch?
So this is a first run. We do have some t-shirts, sweatshirts that were all first run for the conference. But yeah, we'll probably. It's funny at the conference, people are asking us the same thing. So I think maybe we should put them up on the website. There's actually we have a very cool, because the outer logo is circular, so we have a very cool shoe concept that's very Converse-esque. So maybe we'll tease some of that and throw it on the website.
Throw it up. Lord Hades said, "What airdrops will legendary owners will get again?"
So they'll get all of the modular assets in that color. So if they buy like the gray modular Prebuilt, then they get all of the individual assets in order to build their own creations using the container.
Yeah. And to go even further is, so when you buy, let's just walk through the process. If I go on to the marketplace right now and I buy one of the legendary pre-builts, right away before because like we said, when Polygon goes live, you'll get every individual component from the beams to the walls to the floors, everything, because there's, I think it's like 27 to 32 assets.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be getting airdrop. But if you buy let's say you buy the abstract home or the artist loft, right away, you're going to be airdropped several different doors so that you can already get doors. And because as you can see, because the doors are animated, this is the way the sandbox work. We can't attach those doors to these items because they wouldn't work correctly in the game maker. Mm-hmm. So the lofts are just open, right? These spaces have no doors or windows attached. So right away, we're going to airdrop you a couple different options. And then, to be honest, like I said, if you look at some of the owners and their wallets of what they've been airdropped, we always have little surprises for everyone between avatars or extra little pieces that we come out with that we just think are fun that you can add to your stuff. So that's one thing we always want to make sure for our legendary owners. We did legendary our first drop. We'll probably do legendary in our third or fourth drop coming up. Not too many crazy legendary items. We want to keep them pretty exclusive. And then lastly, the other thing that's getting airdropped pretty soon here is those actual CAD file NFTs. So it's a 3D file, CAD blueprints, everything. So in my opinion, quite a bit of utility for these legendary items.
Yeah. And is there, I guess I never asked, is there a limit to how many legendary items are out there?
For each company, or just like what we can do?
Well, like this, so like what we're looking at right now, like the abstract home, like is there a limited supply, or is it just as many as someone buys?
Yeah, no. So it's definitely a limited supply. What you're seeing there is 3. So there's only 2 of 3 available, and then
okay.
artist loft 2 of 4, 4 of 5. So yeah, not too many were minted to begin with. They're pretty low volume, and then there's only a few left of each.
Okay, awesome, great. Well, hopefully that answered your question, Lord Hades. Yeah, I mean, I want to thank you guys for coming on today. This is, I feel like, a great show. Had an awesome conversation. And I appreciate everyone watching. Is there any closing statements you guys would like to give?
No, I just want to say thank you so much. Well, I guess there is, because I'm talking. I just want to say thank you so much. You guys have been awesome. We love what you do. We love the channel. You guys have been crazy cool since the moment we reached out. So everyone just keep an eye out. I'm sure you'll be seeing us a lot more doing stuff with SandStorm as well.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yeah, no, like I said, thank you guys for coming on, because if you guys didn't come on, then it would just be us sitting here talking to each other, and no one wants to hear me and Slater 8 have a conversation. Let's be honest.
I don't know about that.
Well, thank you guys very much. Make sure you guys are following the stream. Make sure you guys are following Outer Studios on Twitter. Join their Discord. And we will be live again here tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern. So make sure, once again, make sure you guys are following the Twitch and join the SandStorm Discord as well.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks.